Now that that's out of the way, most of you actually voted on off-camera flash questions, but super overview. This isn't going to be like technical. I'm not getting into shooting with it. I just wanted to show you some of what I work with, how simple I keep it, how cheap I keep it, and then talk about how I set up for the shoot over at IMR Flip the other day, because we wanted to play with fun colors and make that a little more exciting. So here we go, off-camera flash. Okay, this is a speed light. This goes on top of your camera. You can put it on top. I hook my flashes up to these triggers so that I can shoot remotely. Trigger, and then you can throw one of the triggers on your camera. So I can stick this anywhere in the room and do a one flash setup. I can set multiple around the room. As long as they're on the same channel, they'll all talk to each other. And because I'm using the trigger from my cameras, I can trigger all of them. And the cool thing is when you dual shoot, so like if you're shooting a wedding reception, you can literally set 3 or 4 flashes up around the room and just shoot with your triggers on your camera, and you don't have to carry around all your heavy ass equipment. So one of the things that a lot of people get like overwhelmed with are they don't know what gear to buy, they don't know how to even use it once they get it. First of all, the key is buy whatever or get whatever you can get your hands on for free, cheap use, and just play around with it just to see if it'll even work on your camera first before you get all complicated and start spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on complex lighting systems that you're going to be too busy on a wedding day to even use. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I just keep it super easy. I was able to pack some of this stuff in my one backpack to bring with me to Europe. If it got lost or broken, they're cheap. They're less than $100. They're like maybe $60, $70. So, you know, it's not a huge deal if something happens to one of them, and that's why I carry around like 3 or 4 at a time. So if you're going to be using say you just have a speed light, you don't have any triggers, this is all you have. At this point, you're pretty much stuck to using this on camera, okay? When it's always going to be better than the one that comes on the camera though. Once you power it up, I don't know if you can even see that, you have a test button, which is the pilot button. You have, if you want to turn on the light, so when you're in a dark cave shooting, you can do that. You can change the modes. There is a function on here. So technically, yes, because this is all infrared, you could use these without triggers. However, if you have people at your wedding or wherever and they're shooting with these newer cameras that have infrared beams kind of built in, like I know like the 7D has it, you know, I don't even know everything else. All I know is it drains your batteries when somebody else is triggering your shit, and they're confused because they don't know where this light's coming from. They're not properly exposed for the lighting, and you're like, why is all my shit dying? So yes, if you can, get the extra triggers, transmitters and receivers. Back to the flash though, this zoom right here, this is basically, so you can go as wide as 24 and as tight as 105. And that's going to expand or tighten up your light, little tunnel. So I like to go 105 when I'm just trying to do a rim light on somebody, or something. I just want to light up something specific in a particular area, and I don't want to light the whole body up or the whole area. Okay, so that's zoom. I typically start, when I shoot, I always start at the lowest power setting just to see where I'm at, because I would rather have a low power and bump my ISO or lower my shutter speed to. What the hell do I mean by that? Basically, if you've ever tried to use off-camera flash and you've gotten a black bar across the front of your screen, and you're like, what the hell's going on? That means your shutter is too fast for what the flash and everything can handle. So you're getting like, did I say that right? So try to keep it under 1/200th of a second. The slower you go on your shutter speed, so say you're at 1/200th of a second, the slower you go, say you drop down to 1/25th of a second. Now you have all that extra time that your sensors are sucking in the available light. So if there's tungsten lighting, if you have candle lights, if you have mood lighting, if you have up lighting, that's how your shutter speed. Shutter speed is going to control the ambient light. I try to keep it, I don't know, it just depends on the scenario of what, if I'm trying to do something dramatic, or if there's really bad mixed lighting, meaning you have tungsten, you have window light, you have all these different color temperatures coming in. The higher you go on your shutter, like 1/200th, you're going to close out the extra light, and you're basically going to suck up the power that you're pushing through from here. And then these are going to be daylight balanced. So if you are shooting in a tungsten reception area or something really like church with all the crazy colors, you can color correct and throw color correction gels. Actually, I don't have any. So they have like tungsten color correcting gels. These are the ones that are more fun because I was just doing that shoot at IMR. I was saying, if you follow my stories, I was saying that I didn't have my small ones for this because I don't have the mag mods or anything like that. I literally I just pack shit in my bag and throw it in, and if I need it or want to play with it, I'll pull it out. But this was a huge sheet like this that was for my studio lighting, and then I just kind of cut it up, throw it over things, tape it, rubber band it, whatever. I have some like thick elastic. It's not super fancy. Like I said, if someone breaks in, steals my shit, I know how to make my lighting look good with this. So I don't know what to tell you. So if you feel like you have to spend all that money to make your shit look good, go for it. If you don't want to, or if you feel like, let me just try it with something cheap first, and if it works, it works, start there. I mean, go look at my stuff. It's fine. You wouldn't even know the difference and say, oh, this is how much she spent on her flash. So the way I incorporate it, I almost always try to bring at least one flash on a light stand with me on a shoot, unless I'm specifically going for like a particular mood. Like when Mindy and I went out to the desert to go shoot, we knew we were going to bump high ISO and get all that grain, and we didn't want flash. So I didn't pack that shit. But usually I always have one, because I don't know, even if I'm shooting in natural light, I would much rather color correct skin that I can control with my flash, even if I'm overpowering the sun at like full power, or even if I have two of them. The skin is better than trying to fight off green reflections and all kinds of stuff that can make people look ungodly and sickly. So I like skin tones when I use. I try for the most part to keep my balance of available ambient light and flash to, I'm at like 1/128th power, barely. I'll put it up and far away in the corner as possible, just because I want the subtle rim light. I don't want harsh shadows and bad skin and greasy and this and that. Like, I want it to still be subtle but soft, where it's going to start carving. So I guess my question for you guys, why did you want to hear about off-camera flash? Did you want to hear about the technical side of it, or did you want to know like how I use it in my photos? Do you want to see more behind the shot? Like if I show you a photo and I tell you how it was lit, is that kind of what you're more curious of? So tell me so I can help post more stuff about that, because I absolutely love lighting. It's my jam. I know I can shoot in a pitch black cave. I can shoot in high overhead sun. I'm not scared of any lighting situation you thrown at me. I can shoot in, I've shot outside with just string lights in a dark vineyard. Like, flash can totally change the game for anybody. So if you have any questions, please let me know now, and then I'll get back to you.